too.
Okay, Impressionists were doing their work using pastel colors and tiny little brush strokes to make pretty little pictures that people like to look at. Meanwhile, the Jewish people were trying to find a homeland, which was Zionism, because they wanted to have Zion back. Theodore Herzl was a major proponent for that, as was Emile Zola. In 1888, we had the Berlin Conference that was done by Otto von Bismarck, and which started the scramble for Africa, where we wanted Europe wanted to basically settle Africa, to bring Europeanism to them. We also had spheres of influence begin, where we wanted to impact Japan and China by trading with them. America was also starting to get involved in this. It was supposed to bring great things like assimilation, where the world comes together, but it really brought bad things like racism. And the Boer War in South Africa. Cecil Rhodes becomes the Colossus of Rhodes, where he takes over all of Europe, or all of Africa for Britain. And Rudyard Kipling writes The White Man's Burden, why it's so hard for white men to take over the rest of Europe. Meanwhile, we have the Christian Democratic Party coming about in Germany. And we have some really great stuff going on in science and other areas. Louis Pasteur and Joseph Lister are working with germ theory, and they develop antiseptics, Listerine. We have a lot of other scientific guys, Gregor Mendel, Edward Jenner, Carl Jung with sociology, Freud, and psychology. Auguste Comte goes along with both of these guys. Friedrich Nietzsche says that God is dead. Charles Darwin says that we evolve from animals, which gives us social Darwinism, the strong take over the weak. We also have other scientists, Albert Einstein, Max Planck, and Marie Curie, doing scientific stuff that I just don't understand. And Emmeline Pankhurst in England is fighting for the rights of women. Meanwhile, on other sides of the scope, we have the Russo-Japanese War, where the Russians and the Japanese are fighting over land on the far side of Russia. We have Sinn Féin, which is the Irish trying to get independence and home rule, where they get to rule themselves, even though they are still part of England. And we have the 1905 revolution in Russia, where they tried to take over the government, but it doesn't work and they all die. In art, we have modernism, where things are just becoming more modern, and we have cubism, which is art is done in tiny little squares.